go to the one everyone's waiting on. Rockets and OKC. Who do you guys got?
I know most people aren't gonna go with this, but I'm gonna go OKC in 7.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Westbrook is gonna lead his team over um the Rockets. I think he's gonna average a triple double, probably like 35, 12, and like 11 or something crazy. It's gonna be like, yo, this man is still going for a 7-game series, averaging a triple double, beating the 3 seed. Like, this is going to be the big upset, I think, of the West side. I think and I think he's going to get his teammates to play even better. I think Roberson, just like he did, I think in last year's playoffs, he was making buckets. Like, he's draining threes. He's not a 3-point shooter. I think if he can step up, that's a series that's winnable for them, because it's the big matchup is Russell Westbrook versus James Harden. I think them two are basically canceling each other out in terms of how productive they're going to be. Now it comes down to who else can perform. I think if Andre Roberson can perform, I think Steven Adams is a better overall center than Clint Capella. I think Enes Kanter off the bench is a big X factor, even though Houston does have Eric Gordon. I don't know. I just feel like OKC taking this one in 7. Westbrook's just going to go off.
I love James Harden and I love Russell Westbrook. I got this swinging the Brody's way in 6. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'll give you different reasons. Last year's playoff, we kind of saw what Billy Donovan can do in the playoffs, the matchups he can kind of create for his team. And basically, I like what he did last year when he was able to eliminate the X factors of Golden State, when he kind of was able to eliminate Klay Thompson from games late, when he was able to take away from Draymond Green's game. I think in a 7-game series, he'll be able to. You're not going to really be able to stop James Harden. He's a creator. But if you can limit the Lou Williams, the Eric Gordons, the Ryan Andersons, the Capellas, you have a chance to win. And Adams was great in last year's postseason. I think if you can get Kanter to sit down low, be a post player, and let Russell dish to him, the Thunder won't be a one and done. They can sit there and make a run at the conference finals, but everything has to go right for them. But personally, I just see this in 6, and I definitely could see Russell Westbrook going off on some crazy triple double stat.
The X factor here is for me is Oladipo. He hasn't been doing much in the regular season, but if he shows up like somewhat the Orlando Oladipo, I think they got a chance for sure. But
Taj, McDermott, like those two guys. Taj has playoff experience for I don't even know how long. This guy's gone against that Heat team. Yeah. He's played LeBron multiple years. He's helped Chicago make the playoffs multiple years without like a true superstar player. Like, this guy's gonna come out and play like he always does. And against a team where Ryan Anderson's guarding him, he can put up numbers. Like,
I definitely agree with that, but I think you know what you get out of Taj Gibson. You know what I mean? And I don't think Taj Gibson's a difference maker. You know what I mean? He's a good player. He has the experience, but I don't see him as a guy that you sit there and be like, yeah, he can make a big difference for the team. I don't see that in Doug McDermott either. I didn't really agree with the trade, but you do have to get better. You did have to get a shooter around Russell, so it made sense. But honestly, I think Oladipo's an X factor also, and Roberson, like you said earlier, is a huge X factor. I mean, Roberson easily is a guy who can make $20 million a year if he could shoot. And he can.
Easy.
But if he can make an occasional jump shot, if he can shoot, I'll put it like this. If he shoots 37% from beyond the arc this series, they'll win. He needs to knock down his shots.
Especially that corner
easily.
3.
Talked about like OKC's X factor. I think the biggest X factor on Houston, personally, in the starting lineup, I think it's Patrick Beverley. I think that if he's able to play really good defense on Russ, just disrupt his offense in general, then Houston takes it in like 5. But if he can't disrupt Russ, I don't know if Houston can do anything about that really. And then off the bench, I know Eric Gordon will probably perform, but I think that other X factor is Lou Will, because if anybody watched that series against Washington when he was in Toronto, he didn't perform that well. So I think he's like the big X factor off that bench. So
definitely think Patrick Beverley is an X factor for them. but I don't think you can piss off Russell Westbrook like he likes to. And a lot of Patrick Beverley in the playoff series, you see him. He likes to piss people off. You know what I mean, he did it with Steph Curry. He gets annoying. I think mentally, if you try to get in Russell's head, you're just gonna make him go off more. You know what I mean? And that's you can't really do anything about that. So I think if I'm D'Antoni, I'm telling him, listen, play your game. Don't try to disrupt him in any mental way because you don't want to give him more motivation. Because I think you don't want to give more fire to a dude who's already red hot.
For sure.
I mean, he's going into that series knowing that he wants to sweep them.
Yeah.
And he thinks he can. You know what I mean? So you don't want to add more to that.
I think another thing is it's the playoffs, and Houston isn't like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Houston's not like a good defensive team. They just score more than the opponent, right? So if OKC can play like a gritty playoff style of basketball where they're more aggressive, hope that the refs aren't calling like crappy little touch fouls or whatever, just be more aggressive with a player like Harden. Houston's not doing anything in that series.
The main thing is either Harden's going to get his team to slow down or Russell's going to slow down his team. Because I think the team that can control the pace, they're both high-flying teams. They want to get to the rim. They want to make plays within the first 8 seconds.
For sure.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think the team who can adjust and slow down the pace and still execute a solid game plan will win. And that's another reason why I think D'Antoni's philosophy doesn't work in the playoffs. Because you hear it all the time, defense wins championships.
For sure.
But D'Antoni doesn't teach defense. I'm a Knicks fan. He was a Knicks coach. All he wants to do is run the floor 10 seconds or less and score
Get
points.
A shot up, yeah.
And you don't have to get back on defense. And I think that's why Harden has succeeded so well this season is because he's in there with a coach who's telling him, yo, you don't have to worry about defense. Go in there and create the offense within 10 and we're good. And I think when it comes to playoff time, like you said, if you can create some gritty style defense, slow the pace, control the game, whichever team can control the game effectively, I think will win the series.
I think that's a good point because Phoenix also they had the talent to win titles a couple years in a row. D'Antoni can't teach defense, and so that team every single time got eliminated before they even made it to the finals. So.
Sure.